Just a quick disclaimer, there's gonna be a lot of cussing in this, and it's also not the best quality as this is my first video. But I hope you enjoy anyway, and yeah.
Yes, yes, yes. Shoot, 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 shoot. You play video games? And you're a girl?
Jeez, that face though.
Hey humans, so I've got a problem. I'm a really huge nerd, but I'm also a really huge feminist.
Now for the sake of this argument, let's pretend that feminism still stood for gender equality, okay? I like how she used the word but, like it's so unheard of for a self-proclaimed equal rights group to be associated with nerd culture. Like, I support men's rights, but I'm a woman. Okay, well, why wouldn't I?
Now I know that doesn't sound like a problem. I mean, after all, they're completely unrelated things. One's about enjoying certain video games and movies and TV shows, and the other one is about creating equality and acceptance for all kinds of people.
No, the foundation of feminism was about creating equality and acceptance for women in a society run and dominated by men, hence the term femme.
But unfortunately, there's been this string of anti-feminist thought going on in nerd culture, and I've tried to avoid it for a long time, but now I think it's just time I confront it head on.
Actually, people are much more accepting about women in nerd culture now than they were, say, 15 to 20 years ago. They just don't like people like you who make up problems out of virtually nothing.
So look, if you're a nerd, I'm not calling you an asshole or a misogynist or anything like that, okay? I'm not here to attack you and tear you down. But if you're already discrediting my opinion because I said I'm a feminist, then we need to have this talk.
And I agree, so let's hear it.
Because I love nerd culture. I love that there are passionate people that can unite together around a shared love for certain things. Nerd culture is a huge, complex thing that can never be boiled down to one person or one train of thought. But it does tend to be mostly straight cisgender men.
Oh my God. It's actually kind of ironic to me because my boyfriend is a huge nerd and he's always had a few small groups of friends, and there's always been that gay kid or that trans kid. Some of my own best geeky friends are actually bisexual, pansexual, and even transgender. So I'm feeling to see the dominance of straight cisgender men that you're talking about.
Even if it's by accident, nerd culture does manage to exclude women and LGBTQ plus people in a bunch of different ways.
What the fuck? Girl, have you not been paying any attention? Every other goddamn superhero out there are munching carpets and fucking plush unicorns. Unless you're referring to the fanbase themselves. If so, have you ever considered that where somebody chooses to put their dick or their vagina is completely irrelevant to their gear score or their KDA? I personally don't just walk into a game and greet my team like, "Hi guys, I'm a girl. This is so relevant to my playstyle and abilities. Tee hee hee. Now let's go and rape some enemy pussy." Girl power.
And that sucks, because nerd culture is supposed to be the culture of the neglected. It's supposed to be the culture of the people who were never popular in high school, or who didn't have a lot of friends, or who were bullied for one reason or another. As a culture basically founded on being outcasts, I think it's absolutely necessary that we are as open and accepting as possible.
Yes, I agree. To an extent. Anyone should have the right to call themselves a nerd or be allowed into the nerd culture. But you can't force people to accept you into their personal group among the entire culture. If you grew up fighting off said bullies so you could be yourself, why the fuck are you letting these nerdy bullies prevent you from being yourself? Fuck them. Not literally.
If you consider yourself a nerd, all I'm asking is that you hear me out and listen with an open mind and try to imagine what it would be like if you were a woman or a part of the LGBTQ plus community.
Well, I am a woman, so this shouldn't be too hard for me.
So here it is, 5 ways you can help nerd culture become more inclusive. Number 1, don't act like it's a miracle if a woman or a girl likes video games or other nerdy things.
I've personally never had someone act like it was a miracle that I played video games or liked nerdy stuff. I've had people be quite impressed that I was good at video games because I was a girl, but they were generally preteens or children, and it's really not, I mean, at my age at least, Really not as common as you would think it is.
I know that my skit in the beginning of the video was a little exaggerated, but just a little bit. I've actually seen people act that surprised when they find out that a woman likes video games or Star Wars or anything like that. Even when it's intended as a compliment, it's really insulting to women.
I don't find this insulting at all personally because I can understand, given the history of nerd culture, where they are coming from. It would be insulting if they thought that I was fat and ugly strictly because I enjoyed video games, however. But they tend to not expect that of me. It's the feminists who want me to look that way.
Because nerd women have been around for as long as nerd men have been around. They've just been ignored and shoved to the sidelines because of some very systematic misogyny.
Again, maybe like 15 to 20 years ago, not so much anymore. Now we are praised for liking video games, waifu material, and such. The only people who discredit us tend to be assholes. And I also want to make a point, assholes will be assholes no matter what your gender is. So, yeah.
Number 2, don't force people to prove that they like something. So you meet a woman and she says that she likes Star Wars, and you manage to play it cool and you don't act surprised, but you don't really believe her. So you ask her questions like these.
Who's Chewbacca's grandfather? Which hand does Luke Skywalker have cut off? What color is Yoda's lightsaber?
But all of these questions are really just part of a test to find out if she's really nerdy or not. But
I've actually never been asked to prove that I liked something nerdy. Okay, one time a guy asked if FMA was the only anime I have watched. Since I really liked it, I was kind of going through an FMA phase, but he was kind of a twat, so kind of irrelevant.
men aren't subjected to tests like this.
Okay, I'm in no way saying that it's right to test another person, regardless of gender, about their knowledge of video games, but the reason why so many people do this is because there are a lot of women out there who know that they can get easy attention and even money from sticking their tits out to preteen gamer boys. It's extremely easy, really. My own brother, in fact, used to use a female character in Endless Online to get free shit from men. Again, not saying that every girl should be tested on their gamer knowledge, but I'm just putting it out there that this is the reason why people do it.
Number 3, advocate for more diverse characters in video games, TVs, movies, and books.
You stay away from my cute, sexy waifus, you vulture.
Even though I love all different kinds of media, there's a problem with most of it. It's a lot of straight, white, cisgender men. Number 4, be wary of the language that you use.
Don't tell me how to live my fucking life.
Have you ever been on Xbox Live? It's like the comment section of the gaming community, just horrible slurs and terrible things that you never want to hear all in one place.
From my personal experience, 99% of those are ragers and children. I've been called a cunt by a 10-year-old. It's really not that big of a deal.
But certain words and slurs genuinely hurt people and make them not want to be a part of the community. For example, if you use rape as a synonym for destroying something, you can cause PTSD flashbacks for rape survivors.
I see where you're coming from, but you are responsible for your own feelings. I'm not saying you shouldn't get offended or triggered. I'm just saying it's not really my or anyone else's problem. Yeah, I know, freedom of speech is so fucking terrible, isn't it?
Number 5, don't threaten people that criticize you or nerd culture. I feel like this last one should go without saying, but apparently it needs to be said. Don't send hate messages or rape or murder threats to people who criticize you.
Yes, this is one point that you made where I heavily agree with you. It isn't right to threaten to rape somebody just because you're a pussy bitch who can't handle others' opinions. However, people who do this are either so butthurt that you shouldn't even be threatened by their insults, or they're just trolls who want a reaction out of you. Don't feed the trolls, and don't let the emotionally weak suppress or affect you. It isn't worth it.
Throwing threats and insults around doesn't do anything to help your cause. In fact, it only proves why women and LGBTQ+ people don't feel safe in nerd culture.
But this isn't something that only happens to them. It's something that we all deal with. Male, female, attack helicopter, everyone. So I'm not trying to criticize Riley herself. I just felt inspired to respond to her video as I am a girl, and I found a few things very flawed in her argument. I'm going to link the original video so you can see whatever I left out. But please don't go and attack her. I do not want anything like that, although I highly doubt anyone will ever see this video, just in case. So yeah, anyway, like and comment if you enjoyed what I had to say, and dislike and comment if you didn't. I would like to know. and subscribe if you want to see more, I guess. Anyway, peace.